Welcome, everybody. I'm Chris Holman, and you're watching the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network. And today we are broadcasting remote, as you might imagine, from several different spots. But one of them happens to be Washington, D.C., where we're fortunate to have with us Todd McCracken. Todd, of course, is the executive director, the president of the National Small Business Association. So we, as you can see, have labeled him. So there's no confusion as to which one of us is which. Todd, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Morning, Chris. I'm doing good. Thanks for being here.
Good. I don't know if you noticed, I'm sporting my COVID-19 here.
I see that. I had a very similar thing going on. I just got rid of it last week. So
well, today's kind of decision day on this too. We're getting tallies. Todd, let me ask you, because at this point in time, I'd like to hear a little bit about how you think you're national, because we're able to chart very closely the Michigan small business sector, but not the national. How do you think they have fared through this COVID-19?
Well, not well. Of course, it's a great deal, depending upon what part of the country companies are in and what industry they're in, how customer facing their business is. But in the main, as you know, we're in a significant recession. So even companies that have nothing to do with an end consumer product that you would initially guess would be hard hit have been, because our economy is so interconnected. So I mean, we've heard consistently that cash flow and credit are the chief concerns. From early on, the Paycheck Protection Program went into place. Almost 5 million companies have gotten money out of that, and it's hundreds of billions. And it had a very significant, I think, positive effect, despite all of the various bumps in the road and the difficulties some companies have in understanding what to do, the forgiveness and all that. It's been a huge cash infusion to the small business community, and I think it's kept them going heretofore. But there's still a long road ahead. We're in a recession. Most folks think we're going to stay in a recession for a while. And that really is where Washington is now, trying to figure out what's the next phase. Should there be another stimulus package? Should there be more economic assistance? And if so, what form should it take? Because the form we had before doesn't make sense going forward.
Well, and it's interesting, because that was one of the things I wanted to ask you, is how you feel about that. Do you think there is initiative there? And should I go to my mailbox today and wait for the check?
You should not go to the mailbox today. I mean, they're talking about lots of different things, right? I mean, and that's going to be the problem going forward. Is for a while there in March, April, some of the bipartisan divisions kind of went away because people felt the urgency to do something. We got to tackle this urgent national problem. Now it's a little less urgent. They've had more time to think about it. They divided up into camps. There are different ideas on different approaches. The current economic environment doesn't really lend itself to consensus building and bipartisanship. So you've got ideas for tax credits, you've got infrastructure bills, lots of ideas. So I'm a little bit concerned that we'll hear lots of noise about lots of things and not nearly enough action.
Todd, it's very difficult because we can give anecdotal information here, which is pretty accurate because we're close to a lot of the businesses we represent. That's a little more difficult on the national level, but I might ask you, just with your board of directors, what the enthusiasm level is for success after COVID-19 and coming out of it. We've found that only 40% are feeling really bad about it.
Yeah, but 40% is a pretty high number, I got to say, given the historic optimism of the small business community. And we do surveys in the past, and we ask people, how optimistic are they about the economy? How optimistic are they about their sector? And how optimistic are they about their company? They're always much more optimistic about their company than they are about the rest of the world. That's what makes them successful small business people, right? But yeah, I would say things are looking up. That the people are more optimistic now, however, than they were a couple of months ago or 3 months ago. They're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. They have, in many cases, reimagined their businesses and sometimes been more successful than they were they would be. And I think a lot of companies have positioned themselves, have used this time to do some longer term positioning that they probably should have been doing before. And they're now realizing, hey, I'm in a better spot now because of this. to be more efficient and to capitalize on opportunities in the future. And they've realized that. And that's why I think they're feeling a little bit better than they were a couple of months ago.
It's kind of interesting because one of the things that small business owners especially always kind of grapple with is if my people work remote, will they be productive?
Right.
And this has been kind of an impetus to shove us there and make us realize that, in fact, they can.
They can be. It presents its own challenges, but people have been forced for the first time to really deal with those challenges and see how they can be dealt with. And the reports that I get anecdotally are that it's going better than expected for most companies, the remote working. And so, the field that I don't think I'd want to be in right now is commercial real estate, because it's going to be a tough environment out there for the next few years, I think, in that sector.
No, I'm thinking about people who are sitting home and saying we really don't need 4,000 square feet. We need 500. Yeah, you're absolutely right. All right. So any bright spots in the future? Is there anything else going on in Washington, D.C.? That's kind of a loaded question.
Yeah, honestly, not really. All eyes are on the economically on the pandemic. So
yeah. Well, listen, thanks for taking time with us, and thanks for the great work you do representing small businesses there in Washington, D.C.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Todd McCracken, who's the president of the National Small Business Association. You're listening to the Michigan Business Beat on the Michigan Business Network, and you're also watching it as well. We'll be right back with a whole lot more. Thanks for being with us.